of nurturing family peace, family harmony, deliberately creating a system that nurtures family peace and family harmony. We are not winging it, because yes, whatever we want in our parenting, it doesn't come by us winging it. So we are not winging it. We are being super intentional, and we are intentional about nurturing family peace, nurturing relationship amongst our children, especially our children. I always say, as adults, we are grown, so our children are still young, and we still have the opportunity to nurture them, to raise them the way we actually want them to be raised. Good evening, my name is Enimi Orebo. We are super late today. Our class is usually 8 o'clock. Apologies, I'll explain shortly what happened. Okay, so today's topic is how we can manage conflict in our families, because there is always a conflict. Why do siblings not agree? Because of conflict. I have siblings that something that happened between them years ago, like things that happened when they were much more younger, is the reason why they are rivalry today. Why some, I've heard situations, they will say, oh, the sisters, two of them are fighting over a boy or over a man. It is the reason why they are not in agreement. And something that I always say about parenting is that when siblings rival, it is the parents that suffer, because they are the ones that will have a headache. And if you are just joining us for the first time, you need to go back to day 1, day 2, and this is day 3 of this topic, because we've looked at a lot of things, and we've looked at what can happen when siblings rival each other. Yes, they will always rival each other. There will be conflict in the family. We can't take that away. So many reasons will cause conflict: fighting for attention, temperament, competition will cause rivalry in the family. But if there is no effective management system in the family, it may be a rivalry that will linger on from childhood to adulthood. Thank you for joining me. It's like I said, we usually start 8 o'clock, but today something happened. I was almost able to start when my son kept complaining that he wasn't feeling too good and all of that, and he just said something: "Mommy, these are the signs, these are the way, I feel this way when I have malaria, and my kids, they don't fall sick easily." So I said to myself, now, and I don't like a situation whereby I'll have to wait until they fall sick, then I'll start running health asket. And no, I don't have that capacity. So I like to just approach things immediately. So when he started saying, oh, these are the symptoms I have when I have malaria, and I remember the other day he was talking about some things, I said, oh, these are probably symptoms of malaria. So I just had to get things done quickly so that I don't wait till tomorrow. I don't want a situation where they break down. I don't want that. So that was why we are coming late today. When we say parenting is hard work, is indeed hard work. I had to put what I was doing on hold to go there, and then if he was even telling me, mommy, it's already late, it's super late, I don't want you going out this night, it's super late, because it was about 8 o'clock I had to dash out. But hey, I still had to go. It is what we do. Okay, I knew I was safe anyways. Okay, the topic for today is conflict management in the family. How to manage conflict in such a way that your family is bonded, is united, in such a way that conflicts don't degenerate into lifelong battles, into generational battles. We've seen situations where siblings are quarreling today, they have issues today, and their children inherit it. Oh yes, I've heard this story before. Like the children don't even know the cause of their rivalry. They don't even know why they and their cousins, they don't agree. They don't even know why they're not friends with their cousins. They have no idea. They talk about inherited quarrel, things that happen between your grandparents. I've also heard that before. I remember somebody saying that the parents, that is her grandparents, the children, that is her parents and the siblings, they had an issue growing up, and the parents, the uncle now believed that the parents supported her own mother. That was the foundation of it, favoritism, and that actually lingered on. The matter they did not even know, something that happened when these children were not even conceived. They were born and they inherited it. Like, another generation came to inherit it. Now, this is why it is super important for parents to think about how they can resolve conflicts among their children. Yes, it is super important. I hear a lot of things that, oh, when siblings quarrel, when they quarrel and you don't have to intervene. One of the reasons you hear coaches advising that you don't have to intervene is because when they quarrel, you are going to start playing judge. You may take side with one of your children, and the truth of the matter is you may not even take side with anyone, but someone may feel okay. There are some people that can't stand the truth. It is what it is. I was talking to somebody earlier today, and the person was upset, and I said, this is the bitter truth I'm telling you. You want me to tell you what you want to hear, but I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm here to tell you the truth, because if I care about you, then I should actually tell you the truth and not what you want to hear. So there are some people that actually there's something they want to hear. They can't stand the truth. So if you have such a child that can't stand the truth, for example, no matter if you tell them, okay, they're the part of it they played, they will be offended. Why? Because they can't stand the truth. So at the end of the day, they take it that you are favoring the other child over them. And that is not the truth. You're actually telling them the truth of the matter. So that is why many parents, they will tell you, or many coaches, they will tell you, when siblings rival, when they bicker, when they quarrel, please just step away. Don't intervene in their affair. And I always say, nah, because for me, every single opportunity is a win in my parenting. I share this in the Visionary Parents Academy a lot. Whatever the situation is, whether the children are making me proud, whether they are making me feel, oh, you shouldn't have done that, or you should know better, no matter the situation, it is a win for me. You know why? Because when they make me proud, it makes me feel okay. My parenting is yes, I'm seeing the result of my parenting. I'm celebrating my wins. But when they actually do something that I need to look back and reflect, it's also a win for me, because it's always a teachable moment for me. So the same thing happens when siblings rivalry, and when siblings rival each other, it is also a win again, because it's an opportunity for you to actually reach the heart of the child, an opportunity for you to understand your child better, for you to teach your child what you want them to learn. Okay, so today we are going to start by talking about why siblings rival, why there's a conflict in the family. Then from there we'll proceed into how to manage this conflict. So like I always say, I hope you have your writing materials, because at the end of the day, I expect you to have your writing materials to write something down, and I also expect you to most importantly, take action. If you don't take action, I tell you, like I always tell you, your coming here is a waste. Your time is a waste. Your data is a waste if you do not take action, because you are not just here to learn. You are here to apply knowledge. If you learn, you don't take action, it's a waste of time. See, let me tell you something that you don't know. Today, I heard something that shocked me to my marrow, to my bone marrow. Something that I'll share in the Visionary Parents Academy. Something that I can't believe my eyes, and I couldn't believe my ears. And I want to tell you, please, if you're not taking your parenting seriously, if you're not intentional, if you don't have a vision, you need to have a vision. You need to take your parenting seriously. See, you cannot even imagine what is coming after this time. Anyway, so let's go. My name is Enimi Orebo. I'm the lead coach at the Visionary Parents Academy, and of course, this class is empowered by the Visionary Parents Academy. It's an academy that empowers and equips parents with every single tool they need to parent with confidence, to navigate their parenting successfully. It's an academy where we actually do practical work. So it's an academy you definitely want to join. We do a lot in the Visionary Parents Academy. When I say a lot, I mean a lot. It is a really empowering community. It is not just a community that is overhyped. It is a really empowering community. So registration is open for 2025. You can send a message on how you can join. Our fees are very affordable, and our early bird is expiring November 30th. So you have a chance to lock down your spot now and complete your payment by December 30th. Okay, it is how to manage conflict in your family. Not just managing conflict, but create an effective conflict management system in your family. So let's go. Before we go into that, we want to start by do why is there conflict in the family? Now remember, our focus is on the children. Our focus is on the children. We're not talking about parents now, because of course that will talk about marriage counseling, why there's conflict between parents. So we're talking about children, because at the end of the day, our goal is to have children who are bonded, who have a relationship, who are good together, who are happy together, who can be each other's cheerleaders, who can be each other's best friends, who can be genuinely interested in the affairs of each other. That is our goal at the end of the day. And we also want children who we can influence, children who can always who love us and who will always come back to us anytime, who will prioritize us, not because duty makes them do it, but because they genuinely care about us. So let's start with the children and talk about why is there conflicts amongst children. First of all is competition for attention. Yes, when children are competing for attention, especially when one feels that, okay, you give more attention to the other one, there's likely to be competition. Now, there's something I always tell parents about when parents complain about, my child, he used to feed himself. Now he no longer feeds himself. My child, he used to be able to do XYZ. Now he suddenly stopped doing XYZ. My child that had almost finished potty training, could use it potty. Now my child is no longer is not defecating on his or her body. What is the cause? And I always tell parents that one of the causes of that is attention. Your child is seeking attention, and it happens many times. Most of the time it is when you have a new child, or when you seem to be giving attention to something else. So your child, when you have a new child, for example, your child feels that, okay, when this child is helpless, this child cries, this child pulls on her body, mommy or daddy runs to this child and helps this child. So for that reason, they actually want your attention. They want you to also have time for them. They feel, the other child has come to replace them. They want you to have time for them. So because of that, they start regressing. Another thing is, you may have something you have more attention to. They feel that, okay, when I was much younger, when I was helpless, I defecated on my body, I couldn't feed myself, mommy was always there for me. She would always lift me up, daddy will always carry me and be helpful. Now that I can walk, I can sit, I can feed myself, they are not so close to me as before, as they used to. So for this reason, I am going to go back to what I was doing before, so that they can come back to me and I can enjoy that closeness and warmth again. It is not on one other reason why children regress. Like I'm talking about regression, I'm just giving an example of attention. So many times children, they rival each other when they feel, you are giving attention to another one. And another thing is, because they want more attention, they can be teasing. You know what they say? Attention for children, attention is attention. They don't care. It is where a child is crying, the mom is hitting the child, and the child is still following the mom. So attention is attention. One of the reasons children rival each other, it is because they are competing for your attention. One feels the other person is more gets more attention, and so no, they are angry. They want to remove that person that gets more attention and gets the attention. That is one reason. Another reason is sharing of resources. Yes, we know this. We know the sharing of resources. It can cause a lot of conflicts amongst children, where you say, who will hold the TV remote? He's using my cup. He's breathing my air. Gosh. When my kids were much younger, one of the things I used to do back then was, everyone had their thing. A had his cup, B had his cup, C. They all had it. I bought things according to their favorite colors. We have red, we have green, we have blue. So I bought things according to their favorite colors. So whenever I buy something, everybody knows, this is mine because of my favorite colors. We had that for a very long time. Every single thing every single thing they use, everyone had theirs, no matter what it is. Was it cup? Was it spoon? Was it plate? Was it chairs? Every single thing, even things that were not supposed to be shared, even things that the entire family can use one, I still choose for each of them to have theirs. That actually minimized conflict a great deal. They were not fighting over resources. And when it was about television, you know, children also fight over remote control. Oh, who will hold the remote control and all of that? We had a roster. Then we had a roster that talked about, okay, you, so on Monday you hold the remote control, Tuesday you hold the remote control, next tomorrow you hold the remote control, especially for holidays. We had a roster for her to share. So the things we couldn't get more than one, because it was not just possible to get more than one, we had a roster. For very many things, we had rosters on how to do it. So, and this is my favorite toy. Everybody's playing with the toy now. I don't want anybody else to play with it. Okay, because they were still small there, because we were teaching them conflict management, we had a roster for every single thing that they conflicted, that caused conflict. We had a roster for every single thing that actually caused them to rival each other. That is something you definitely want to try to minimize the drama of sharing. Have a roster. Anything that you can duplicate, have it duplicated. The one you cannot duplicate, have a roster for it. As the children grow older, they will naturally, then you begin to teach them how to share. They'll naturally just transition into being able to share, and then you do away with the roster. Another thing that causes conflict in the family, especially among children, is temperament. I've talked about this a lot of time. Temperament is one of the major causes of rivalry amongst children. Yes, because they are not of the same temperament, their perception of things, they see things differently. You know, there are people that are kind of they just believe, your wahala is too much, I beg, I don't have strength, let me stay in my place, I enjoy my comfort zone. There's another child that says, stand up there and get doing things. How can I be the only one doing things? You are not doing things. You know, it will cause conflict. Temperament plays a great role in it. Even how your children interpret things, temperament plays a great role. So temperament is another reason why children rival each other. And lastly, I have here is miscommunication. They do not understand, lack of understanding. When the child is impatient, they are not patient enough to ask for clarification. They just run with what they assume it is, you know, and maybe there is something that has happened in the past. They just assume, okay, it is this particular thing that is being done now is from that particular thing that happened in the past. That will also cause rivalry, cause conflict. That is miscommunication. Excuse me. That is miscommunication. Miscommunication will also cause bickering, rivalry, conflict, because there's a misunderstanding somewhere. It's either the person that is receiving the information is not understanding it well, or the person that is passing the information is not actually passing it well. So it causes a lot of conflict. So conflicts are inevitable. Remember, temperament is a major part. Now, your children are not the same person. They don't have the same temperament. Even if they have the same temperament, some factors will still come in the way, you know. So they cannot be 100% the same person. Their perception will be different. Their strength will be different. Their interest will be different. A lot of things will be different. And these differences is one of the things that will make them clash. Imagine a child who just likes to be bubbling, let me give you a typical a child who likes to loud music, bright lights, and all of that, likes to be everywhere. And that child shares a room with the other one who doesn't want bright lights, who doesn't want loud music, who just wants his peace and quiet. What do you think will happen? While the other one is trying to say, oh, I want some peace and quiet, the other one is trying to say, oh, let's have some fun, you know. That is it. That will make them clash, definitely. So temperament is one of the things that will make them clash. This is why I always tell parents, you can't parent intentionally without knowing your child's temperament, because you just end up breaking your child, forcing your child. you must know your child's temperament. And I have a book, Understanding Your Child, that is designed to help you understand your child's temperament. It has to be the simplest book on temperament ever. Easy, practical, relatable. You should actually get that book. It's in hard copy and it's also in e-copy. So get the book on your temperament. Okay, now remember, the goal of this class is not to eliminate sibling rivalry or conflict in your family, because the people in your family, they are different human beings, very different human beings. So for that reason, they are going to have conflict. I just said temperament is one of the reasons why we conflict, right? Yes. So they are going to have conflict. There are some people who are naturally impatient, while there are some people who naturally are a bit slow. Now imagine if you have two kids, one is impatient, one is a bit slow. What do you think will happen? OMG. I'm just imagining it on my own. So you cannot eliminate rivalry. You cannot eliminate conflict in any relationship. You cannot. So, however, what you can do is to manage it effectively in such a manner that it does not result to family disunity, does not divide your family, does not result to generational hatred, anger, bitterness, or whatever you want to call it. And that is the purpose of this class tonight. Okay, let's go on. Now, before we go on, do you know about the self-led mentorship book club for preteens and teens? Yes, the Visionary Parent Academy, in collaboration with Beyond Etiquette, we have the self-led mentorship book club coming up in January. It's a book club where your child it's basically a book club that is designed to build self-leadership in your child. Yes, to raise self-leaders. So we are going to be working with you as a parent, kind of teaching what you are forgetting to teach and reinforcing what you have taught already. What you have taught already, that is what it's all about. It's about nurturing your child to become a self-leader. So if you have a child you are constantly telling what to do, how to do it, when to do it, you actually want to consider registering them for the self-led mentorship book club. See, I promise you that your child is going to have fun. Of all the classes all the mentorship classes your child has ever been, your child is going to look forward to the activities in the academy. I guarantee you that it is going to be super fun, super interactive, and super empowering. So plan to join us. Our first cohort is January 2025, and it's monthly subscription. It's not yearly, it's monthly. You can choose to pay for the entire year. It's also fine. Mind you, it's 3,500 naira, but by January the fee goes to 5,000 naira. But now to register your child in January, the fee is 3,500 naira. Okay, let's go into the how to manage conflict effectively in your family. The first thing is understand the root cause of every conflict. When I hear parents say or coaches say when kids rival, leave them to sort out their issues, I always say I completely, absolutely disagree with that. When kids bicker and you leave them to sort out their issues, they will sort out their issues. But the truth of the matter is, they may not sort, because your goal as a parent, right? Your goal at every given time is actually to reach the heart of the child. Now, reaching the heart of the child begins by understanding your child's motivation. When you understand the child's motivation, then you are able to reach the heart of the child. I've heard people. I was listening to watching a video the other time, and the woman was saying that the man will always misbehave because she knows that the man will always misbehave and then threaten to take her child away from her, and because of that she will stay back in the marriage because the man knows that she can never leave her child with him. That was her motive. That was her strong why, what she was ready to risk her life for. So that is it. So when children bicker, your children fight, the very first thing you want to know is the root cause. Why? So when parents say or coaches say don't interfere, I tell them, nah, you are not judging. Your interference is not to judge. Your interference is to just mediate between them. Even if you do not want to, you want to understand, okay, what is actually the matter. When you understand the root cause, then you are able to reach the heart of the child with your message. So the very first thing is for you to understand root cause. The root cause will help you understand the patterns. The patterns will help you understand who your child is. It is super important to understand the root cause. That is the very first thing you want to do. Oh, I have a child who is very proud and he's super angry because he feels his ego is hurt. I have a child who is very patient. He's snapping at, he's angry because the sibling is trying to pressure him or pressure her. I have a child who is unforgiving. He's angry, but he has not forgiven the sibling. That is why you need to understand the root cause behind your child's behavior. And by root cause, I just don't mean the particular event. I just don't mean only the particular event. You also need to understand who your child is, your child's temperament. So the things that upset your child, likely going to upset your child, you need to understand this. This evening I was talking to a boy of 10 years old, and I was wowed how I was surprised how much he can keep malice. He can ignore, he can keep malice for a long time when he's not comfortable with the person. That is what I'm talking about. Understanding your child. I was telling the mom that this your son needs an award for keeping malice, And the mom explained to me why the boy is so. Sorry for the Visionary Parent Academy. Okay, that's the first thing. You want to understand the root cause. Now remember, understanding the root cause is not for you to judge. Nah. It's for you to be able to understand how to reach the heart of your child. Sorry, I want to look at my screen. Yes. Now, I always tell parents that you need to get a family constitution. It's another way to resolve conflicts among your children. You need to set ground rules. You can quarrel, you can bicker, you can disagree, but you don't hit. You can do whatever you do, but you don't use certain words. You don't go beyond certain limits. You don't use certain vocabularies in my house. That is it. So set ground rules for conflict resolution. It is very important. Remember, they are going to conflict. We can't take that away. They will definitely conflict. Yeah, they are human beings. They will conflict. Different personalities. So one of the things you want to do is to set ground rules from the word go. And I tell parents that in setting ground rules, you are subject to it. Your spouse is subject to it. If you have a rule that says no one hits, you don't hit too. You don't hit. Because here's the thing that happens. You are upset. You hit your child. Your child is upset. Your child hits the sibling. That is it. So if you have a ground rule that says when you are upset, use your words, do not hit, then it's a ground rule for conflict resolution. So when you are also upset, you do not hit. Now remember, in setting ground rules, you're also going to empower them with the appropriate way to respond to the situations. There are rules. For example, you say do not pass the when the federal government is setting rules, it says do not pass this major road. Then they are going to provide an alternative route for you to pass, right? Do not pass Lekki Expressway. Where are you going to pass? You are going to pass alternative routes. So when you set ground rules, do not hit when you are angry, then you are going to teach how to respond when you are angry. When you say do not use certain words when you are angry, you are going to say, okay, these are the appropriate things for you to express your emotions. And this is why in the Visionary Parents Academy we have the communication rule. We have communication rules for the entire family. So the first one I said is understand the root cause. The root cause will help you set ground rules. Understand the root cause, and secondly, set ground rules. Now, one thing you should know as a parent is that, okay, like I tell my children that if whatever upsets you is a problem. And what happens to problem is solving. There is always a goal, right? If, for example, your sister is annoying you, she's doing all these annoying behaviors, right? Your goal is for you not to get annoyed. Your goal is necessarily not for her to stop, because you are not in charge of her. You are not in control of her. You are in control of yourself. So you cannot control what she does, but you can control how you respond to it. So your goal is not to be annoyed. So what are you going to do? Is either she stops doing those annoying things, right? Or you don't see her. You are not with her. So if you are not with her, she's doing the annoying things, then you are not seeing her, so you not get angry. So that is the goal. The goal is for you not to see her doing the annoying things. Now, because you are not in charge of her, what are you going to do? Remember, everything that upsets you is a problem. You think, how can I fix it? What are you going to do? So you can choose. Now, since you are not in charge of her, you can choose to live away, to move away from that environment. It is a toxic environment. You move away from it. That is it. So teach your children to problem solve. Instead of fighting, bickering, let them problem solve. There is something going on, right? There is a cause. There's always a root cause of every conflict. So what is the root cause? So you want to teach them how to problem solve. What you want is solution, not necessarily to fight your sibling or anything. What you want is solution. So what are you going to do? You are going to find a way to get your solution. Find a way to get a solution in such a manner that it promotes peace. It still promotes peace in the family. So one of the things I say to my children, I ask my children is, does it promote peace? Your choice. I know right now you're upset with your siblings. So what are the options you have? Which of them we help you achieve your goal and still promote peace at the end of the day? Your goal is to solve the problem, right? So which are the options you have, and which of them will help you promote peace and still achieve your goal at the end of the day? In your family, remember, it has to be a system. It's not just for your children, for you alone. It is why when you're upset with them, instead of you to jump into all yelling or smacking, you actually want to problem solve. You see that behavior as a problem, like, okay, what can we do about it? You bring your child in, both of you have it talked about, what can you do about it? What can we do? What do you think we can do? What is the reason? Why are you doing this? Or why did you do this? What were your challenges? Okay, what can we do for it not to repeat itself again? So you need to model it. You need to model how to resolve conflict amicably with your spouse, with the people around you. You cannot be someone who is always yelling, fighting around the neighborhood, and you expect your children to be able to resolve conflict amicably. Really? How realistic are you? You are not someone who is always yelling at your sibling, because they are watching you. They are learning from you. Sometimes we think these things don't matter. Really? They do matter, because you are giving them a lifestyle. You are giving them a lifestyle. Your lifestyle becomes their standards tomorrow. So you can't be hitting your spouse and you expect your children not to know how to resolve conflicts by hitting. You can't be telling your spouse olore buruku, insulting your spouse and expecting your child not to learn how to resolve conflicts through insults tomorrow. You can't be displaying crudeness everywhere, fighting, being snappy, and you expect we learn it. What about sarcasm? Being sarcastic, you expect your child not to learn it. I shared something in the last video. I said, see, one of the things that happens why children fight and get angry at each other is, as a parent, you come and you say all sorts of manners to your child. Oh, because your child is your child, you can call them names, any name that enters, any name you just think of, call them goats, cow, sheep, ram, idiot, stupid. You call them that. Now the thing is, they can't say it back to you, right? They can't talk to you. They can't call you that. So they keep quiet. So now because their siblings have learned from you, their siblings, when they have issues with it, they cannot say those things to you. They transfer it to their sibling. The one you said to them before, the one you will say to them tomorrow, and the one their sibling is saying to them, they gather it together. So a small argument become heated up because you have told them to be loose with their tongues, and you have told them to hit when they are upset or when they are angry. So it is why you must model. You can't take modeling away from parenting. You can't be teaching your child one thing and be doing another thing. You must model healthy conflict resolution. Whether you are resolving conflict with your spouse, you are resolving conflict with your neighbors, you are resolving conflict with your child, with your nanny, with your maid, with people around you. When you go out to buy something, the customer there, they are trying to cheat you, you resolve conflict with them. You don't have to be you don't have to do it in such a way that in such a manner that you do not want. You don't want that. One of the things I always tell them that, see, when you feel you're not comfortable with someone and you feel what they're doing is deliberate, if it's a mistake, you can just let them know, call their attention to it, and give them a second chance. But if you are sure that what they are doing is deliberate, that environment is toxic, so what do you want to do? You move away. The same thing I do. I'm not one that maybe you go out, you meet someone, they are just trying to talk you down and you remain there. No, I don't have to. I'm driving on the road and you hear somebody say, oh, she be woman. They see, those kind of typical thing drivers on the road. I simply ignore. Sometimes I have people in my car, they will not be bantering words with them. I say, really? Nah, you don't even do that in my car. Because I'm teaching my children that some things are not worth your energy. Like, seriously, why would I not be telling this one that he's telling me, you madam, are you blind? Can't you say, are you crazy? I'll be telling him too, are you blind? Can't you say, are you crazy? It's not worth it. It doesn't describe me. So you need to constantly model how to resolve conflicts effectively in such a manner that your family harmony remains intact. That is another thing you need to teach your children, is to take perspectives. Oh yes, because sometimes we just think we know it all. We don't see from the other person's point of view. We don't. So when we don't see from the other person's point of view, we are likely going to conflict with them. So it is important you teach your children to take perspectives, to be able to see from the other person's point of view. They may not agree with that person completely, but at least a bit of empathy, understand where that person is coming from. And one of the exercises I always do with my children, when I talk about this, I write the letters and the number 6 on the ground, and I ask one of them to stand there, one of them to stand at the other side. And the one standing here will say, Mommy, I'm seeing 9. And the other one will say, Mommy, I'm seeing 6. And I tell them, is it the same object, the same number? They say yes. How come both of you are seeing it different ways? So they will say, because I'm standing here, because I'm standing here. And I'll ask them, who is right, who is wrong? And they can't tell who is right, who is wrong. When they see me writing it, they'll say, Mom, you were standing here, you were writing 6. So, but when I write it down, nobody is there. They will say, they can't tell who is right, who is wrong. So what does that mean? Sometimes people see things based on where they are, who they are, where they are coming from, what has gone into them, how they were nurtured, the influence on the environment. That is why people see things. That is what influences the way people see things. That is it. So even you, the same thing influences how you see things. The place you are standing influences how you see things. So it is super important to help your child understand perspectives. Let them take perspectives, understand what may be influencing the other person's point of view. That way it becomes easy for them to understand and resolve conflicts. Another thing is, I talked about miscommunication. It is one of spouse, husband and wife, as children. Miscommunication, misunderstanding of intention. That is why. Now, this is why it is important when it comes to siblings, you teach your children to always seek to understand. Seek to understand. They say assumption is the smallest form of knowledge. Teach them to seek to understand. When they understand, they may not have the same mindset they have. It is super important. They understand, they get clarification. Teach them to understand, teach them to get clarification, teach them to get, oh, I see this happen a lot on Facebook and I'm wondering, do we even understand comprehension at all? Somebody writes something, people are not asking questions, they are just angry, and and when the person breaks it down, some of them still come trying to justify it, and you didn't say this before, you are just saying it now. So have your children, teach them to listen actively, listen to body language, listen in between the lines, listen actively, and seek to understand. Don't assume you know what the person is saying or what the person is trying to say. Do not assume. You are not in the person. The person may not have the right words to express. This one, I wanted to make a post on Facebook. I shared it in the Visionary Parent Academy. I still didn't make the post at the end of the day, even though I had a very busy day. But because I couldn't find the right words, I couldn't find the way I wanted to put it together to make it super simple for my reader to understand. So sometimes people have good intentions, but they struggle with how to actually pass their message or something. I remember when my sister-in-law was living with me, I always accuse her for teaching me how to yell. So that I've always been a very calm person, I don't like it hot, so I also talk calmly. But when she was living with me, she's very snappy, super snappy, for just no reason, she would just snap in response. I was always wondering, this girl, I'm older than her, what kind of sea finish is this? So because of that, I started learning so that I no go carry last, so that when she snaps at me, I snap at her. But she was a super good girl. That's how I should have even known that it may not even be that she was snapping at me disrespectfully. That was how she knew to communicate. Something like, because one of the things she didn't like doing there was cooking. So I always used to cook. I would say, okay, I'm making dinner, I'm making rice. Do you want rice or something there, so that I don't overcook rice? And then she tells me, did I tell you I want rice? Did I tell you I want rice? I was like, are you kidding me? You can tell me I want rice, I don't want rice or something. Or I made extra rice for you. She said, did I tell you I want rice? She's an amazing soul. One of the finest sister-in-laws you can ever have. However, she was always like that. It took me a long time to understand, these people, is a thing amongst them. It's not that she's trying to disrespect me or anything, or she's trying to bully me. Nah, she would not do that. That's how she talks. So it's important that our children learn to understand exactly what their sibling is saying, the intention, the true intention. That way they are able to understand and not feel offended when they're actually going to feel offended. So listening actively is one way you understand. Encourage them to listen actively. Don't listen to reply. Don't listen to respond. One of the things that is common, we listen to respond. So someone is saying something already, we already have our response. So because of that, we just block our mind from reasoning. We block our mind from deep interpretation, so that at the end of the day, we can respond. We just respond from our programmed mindset. And many times it may not really be so right, but that's it seems that's the best you can give, because that's what we do. So teach your children not to listen to respond, but actually listen to understand. So one of the things they need to do is to be, so that they don't misunderstand their siblings, it is to listen actively. And for you as a parent, it's the same thing. To minimize conflict between you and your child, you must listen actively. That will be our next topic. I've shared quite a number of things already. I've said establish ground rule. I've said understand the root cause of the conflict. I've said model healthy conflict resolution. I've said yes, I've said active listening. I've talked about understanding each other perspective. I've talked about solution, finding solution, and I want to talk about forgiveness. One is people. I was telling my sister yesterday that since I was telling her that I have known you all my life, but you have not known me all your life, right? Because you were already about 6 years old, sorry, about 4 years old before I was born. That means I was born into your hands, so I've known you all my life. And I said, all my life I've known you. You have always wanted respect. Oh, did they tell you, didn't they tell you I'm older than you? Or is it because you're as tall as I am? She's always wanted respect. I was telling her, I've never seen somebody that wants respect like you. You know, so one of the things you can actually do is to make sure forgiveness runs in your family. Oh yes, your children learn to forgive each other. You can't hold your family together without forgiveness, because they are different human beings. My sister has always loved respect. That is who she is. I have another one that doesn't give a hoot about it. It is who she is. So they are going to clash. We are 6 siblings. Even till tomorrow we clash. Yes. However, if we are able to forgive, if we are thick, big on forgiveness, we are able to live together forever. So forgiveness is key. Teach your children about forgiveness. It is important, it's non-negotiable. In my home, I tell my children that you do not keep malice. In my home, I tell my children that you do not refer to the past. It is why for everything that happens, we need to find closure. You find closure and move away with this. It is why we don't sweep it under the carpet. It is why we don't just say, oh, they have made up, that is all. No, we find closure, and so that it is done with and it is gone. So that the hurt doesn't linger on, bad energy doesn't go, and tomorrow you hear, oh, that was what you did yesterday, that is what you are always doing. We do not want that. We do not want that. So we don't sweep issues under the carpet. We don't say, oh, they have made up already, that is it. No. What do? We still brainstorm. We trace it to our values. We trace it to who the child is and who the child is meant to be. That is it. So teach your children to forgive. Let go. Forgive. I tell them, you learn from your mistakes. That is good. But you must learn to forgive. Your siblings are human beings and they are going to err. They will not stop erring today. They will not stop annoying you today. They are going to keep annoying you. If you don't forgive them for the one they annoying you today, then they annoy you tomorrow, you add it to it. They annoy you next tomorrow, you add it to it. Before you know what is happening, you are counting, because they are going to annoy you. So it is important you teach your children to forgive. You have a structure that promotes, that encourages forgiveness in your family. Forgiveness. You can't take forgiveness away from family unity. I've seen siblings that were angry at each other when they were little, when they were 10, 11, 12. That anger, right, lingered till adult years and transferred to their children because of childhood shenanigans. So teach them about forgiveness, how it lightens them up, how it brings about family bond, family unity. Forgiveness is not even negotiable if you want to nurture a united family, a family that forgiveness is not even negotiable. You must teach them to forgive. You must nurture forgiveness in them. You must model. I've seen where parents will be angry at the child and they will not talk to the child. I've heard parents tell me, oh, I gave her the silent treatment. I'm like, you gave your child the silent treatment. 3 days, 4 days, 1 week. You are giving your child the silent treatment. What are you teaching your child? They will work, they are learning from you. That is how to solve certain problems. That is how to resolve silent treatment. Because, oh, I didn't know my sibling was going through XYZ. Why didn't you know? Because there is no unity. Because you are giving each other silent treatment. Because you give each other silent treatment, you don't know what goes on in the life of your siblings. So you are not able to play your part as a sibling to that sibling. So hey, make sure you model forgiveness. You teach forgiveness and you model forgiveness. Now, I think this is about the last one I want to share is that give them an opportunity to work together as a team, always deliberately. Remember, it's your family and you are a team. Give them opportunities to work together as a team. This video is already long. I didn't plan it to be too long, so I'm going to just wrap up and hopefully next week we continue. Now, one of the things I also want to talk about is that in conflict resolution, just teach your children to use the I statement, not to be accusatory. Okay, when they don't use the I statement, they are accusatory. I know when you accuse someone, it's easy for them to become defensive. Now, when they become defensive, the matter is not dying down. It's not dying down when they become defensive. Let me explain what I mean. It's something like, um, okay, instead of you to say, I don't like, I don't, okay, you are always doing this. You are always doing this. Or I don't like this. This hurts me. When they say this hurts me, I don't like it when you do this, it hurts me. The offender, if it's a child that has learned empathy, we know that okay, my act actually hurts my siblings, and that will make them want to say, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't know what I was doing hurt you, I'm sorry about it. Okay, but if it's the other way around, is accusing, you are always doing this, the other person will say, I'm not always doing me. This the argument late. It becomes worse because it's accusatory. So teach person may actually, all I have for you today, actually have more. I am feeling really network. So that teach your children to learn from every conflict. Whatever happens, it is an opportunity to learn. It's a teachable moment. So they should learn. They should always learn from every conflict. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Enim Rebo. I'm the lead coach at the Visionary Parents Academy, and I want to encourage you to join us for 2025. And I promise you that you are going to love it. It's going to be super amazing and super empowering for you. It's going to transform your parenting journey as long as you take action. Thank you once again for joining me, and I say good night. Bye bye. See you next time.